Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back. It is time for a book chat. Today is the day we're going to do that. This is my early September welcome to fall book chat because I am more than ready for fall to be here. So maybe if I do an early fall book chat, it will magically appear. Those of you who've been watching me for a while know that I live in the South and we have had an inordinately hot summer. So much so that we have broken records, all-time records for the hottest days. I think one day it was 107 here, actual temps. We have had very little rain until this last week. And we have just been feeling like every time we walk outside, it is breath, soul sucking heat. It just really feels like the worst summer I've ever experienced. And it is starting to ease up a little bit. And my only hope is that this means that we will have a really lovely, chilly, beautiful leaves falling all over the ground and turning different lovely colors fall. You might ask yourself, does that happen in the fall here? And yes, it does. It doesn't happen like it does in New England or in the Midwest in Chicago or in other places of the country or the world, but it happens. So I'm ready for it to happen. And for that reason, I chose my mug today. Yeah, I've had this for a couple of years. It's like one of my favorites. It doesn't fit though in my car, the one in the front seat anyway, in the little hole for my beverage. So I have to use it in the house. Plus, it's ceramic, so I don't want it to break. Mm, so good. So while we're talking about that, let's talk about my new favorite cold beverage because I lived on this for the last few weeks. A friend of mine locally posted one day that she had found this fabulous combination and she wanted to share it. And I saw it and thought, I have got to have that. So I do occasionally drink cold beverages with coffee in them. It isn't unheard of, especially in the summer. And I had been getting some frappuccinos early in the summer, and then they kind of stopped selling the flavor that I was really addicted to at that time. So I kind of stopped getting them. And then Ellen posted this. Okay. Mississippi cold brew coffee, Mississippi mocha, and this Friends Central Perk hazelnut mocha creamer. The ratio is, just so you know, if you can find it, because I ran out to get it. I did find this creamer, which is sugar free, by the way, which is really important to me too, at Winn-Dixie, which is now being acquired by Aldi, if you haven't heard. So that's interesting. But it is 1 part cold brew to 2 parts creamer. So I usually do 2 shots of coffee and 4 shots of creamer in a bigger mug, put a little ice in it just to keep it cold for a little bit. And oh, 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 it is so delicious. I cannot even tell you. So go get your hands on some of that if you can. Now, you probably can't get Mississippi cold brew coffee. I don't know. Maybe you can, but you can find a cold brew and a cold brew mocha. They're very easily accessible all over. So run, don't walk. Run. Well, don't run too hard because if you live in a heat filled place, that won't be good. Okay, what I'm still doing is this Silk and Sonder. Let me find the cover of it. Self care journal. I started these. I don't know. Did I start them in May or June? I don't know. They all pretty much have the same colors. And you can track your sleep, you can track your goals. It has a future log for October and November, what you want to do. a mood tracker, habit trackers. It has a gratitude jar, a lot of the same things each month. And then you can track your calories. You can have a little shopping list. It's got all kinds of fun things. But then it also has like a word wheel puzzle, an expense tracker. Did I say that already? A mandala or mandala. It's a mandala, isn't it? Why do I always want that? There's a recipe, pork chops with apple cider glaze, which I might try. August reflections, which I haven't done yet. I'm still doing this, but I brought this forward because I wanted to sort of notice and name this for my future Lori, and that is that I haven't been using it as much in the last couple of months. August, I didn't really use it much at all, and I would catch up and do a couple of days, and and then I would stop again. So I'm going to try to get back in the habit of doing a little bit every day, but it has been a little tricky for me. August was a tricky month in a lot of ways. I think just the heat and just some things happened and life just was, I don't know, life was just a little energetically challenging. So I'm hoping that September is like a transition to something better. But yeah, August was tricky. Right. What am I currently reading? Besides starting on series September, which I am doing, I have a couple other reads that are still in the mix. So here's my first series September read, which is the second in the Rachel Crawl podcast series. You've seen me talk about this if you watched my series September TBR and my haul. I hauled this in July. I didn't read it in August because no thrillers, but back to feeling okay with that and noticing how I'm feeling about them when I read them. So there's this that I'm currently reading, and I'm about a little over 100 pages in so far, and I'm enjoying it. I've enjoyed the Megan Goldens that I've read before, so yeah. I'm still plugging along, and this is not indicative of where I am because I have been listening to, but I'm still plugging along with the Many Daughters of Afong Moy. Listening to this is not working well, so I'm going to let that book go back to the library, the audio, and just focus on physically reading it. I have opened two of the gifts, which I'm filming separately, so I won't say a whole lot about this now, except that there are many daughters of Afong Moy, and I really need to pay close attention. And in the audio version, that wasn't as easy as I think it will be reading it physically, but we shall see. And then, okay, I did something out of character, but there's good reasons for why I did it. So I had done a video recently about books to movie adaptations the books that I haven't read. One night we were trying to decide what to watch, and Lisa found something, I think on Prime or Netflix, I can't remember, and said, "Do you want to watch this?" And I said, "Oh, that's a movie adaptation to a book I want to read first." And she said, "Oh, okay, well, we don't have to." And I said, "No, you know what? Um, let's just watch it." So we did. And it was funny and campy and corny and predictable. And we were pleased that we had done so. And then my library notified me that indeed my physical copy, which was on a wait list, and the recording audio was on a wait list, were both available to me. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't know why I have so many things in here. Oh, my book club for my library, which I think is today. Yep, I'm not going. But anyway, yeah, all of a sudden, here it is. And so I started to read it and listen to it, not in tandem, but separately. So I'm farther along in this than this would suggest as well, I think. Probably about 100 pages into this as well. The problem I'm having with it is it's almost word for word the same dialogue as the adaptation. So my brain is saying, why are we reading this? We know what's going to happen now. And that is the problem with it's better to read the book first for this reason, because when you read the book, you imagine what the characters look like. You imagine what their homes look like. You imagine what, in this case, the White House looks like, and what the Windsor Castle looks like. You imagine the woods, the horses, the whatever it is that are in the book, and you make those pictures happen in your brain. And then when you see the movie, you're like, oh, and it's come to life. And it's just like almost an enhancement of what you've read. Or maybe even it's better than what you've read. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you think, why in the world did they cast that person? But in this case, I'm already seeing the two of these men, Alex and Henry, and I know what they look like, and I obviously know what's going to happen. And so it's a little bit of a letdown, to be frank. And it's not because there's anything wrong with Casey McQuiston's book. It's campy, it's corny, it's cozy, it's cute, it's funny, it's predictable, it's well loved. I just made a grave error in judgment. The question now, of course, your understanding is, will I finish it? Because I know what's going to happen. And yeah, again, there's just, from me, and let me know in the comments below if this is true for you too. For me, there's just something about not knowing, and then knowing, but being okay with that because it's come to life. I don't know. It's weird. I don't even know really that I'm explaining it well, except just to say, don't do it that way again. The other thing that's happened recently is that I was starting to, and I alluded to this in another video, and I'm not sure which one of these is going to go up first. I was starting to worry about my book babies being in the humidity and in the garage. Essentially, they were not in the climate controlled storage shed because we didn't have room for them there. I also had already stacked a bunch of books in the house, throughout the house, that I had unpacked for a variety of reasons that I don't even really remember now, but I just started opening boxes and putting them in the house. I guess just because I was worried about them then. I don't know. I just did. So I have books in several rooms of my house. I'm showing you them here because you can see, obviously these are here. You know that these are in this room. There's another stack right in front of those, which you can't tell. It's leaning up against a little drawered container that I have in here. I have them in the spare room where the little kids are. Some of them are out for them so that they can enjoy them when they come to visit and have access to them. I have some in my office, have had in my office for a bit of time now. And I have some stacks in the living room on a chest that I use, but those are usually for what I've hauled, what I'm reading, what I have committed to, like for a project like the 5-star prediction project. Those are out there in a stack. And yeah, so they're everywhere. But also, I have brought all those boxes in, and I feel like I need to start unpacking them and sorting them. And the challenge is, I don't know where I'm going to put them yet. I could put some additional stacks in our room. I moved them. I did have them all in the living room at one point. Oh, I do know why we started taking them out. I do remember why, because Lisa made a Christmas tree out of books. And then there were a couple that I wanted to read or wanted to find, and, for videos and things. But that's why they were initially stacked in the dining room, was because she had done that. Okay. That makes me feel better. Anyway, I did have them all stacked in the living room, dining room area. And then we had a foster dog that actually did chew a couple of them. And that was a little scary. And we've had several foster dogs since then that I didn't want to, destroy my books, or God forbid, pee on them or something worse, right? That would just be awful. I put them in these rooms. I talked about putting some back in the dining room again. And I mean, that's fine. But again, we're probably going to foster more dogs because there's so many dogs that need to be fostered. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. What I am, though, wanting to do, since they're all in the house now, is work on this book inventory project. That is kind of a goal of mine to do more of this month. There's a couple goals of mine this month that involve spreadsheets, and that's one of them. So I think what I'm going to do is start unpacking them and maybe put some in the hallway where they're currently stacked up, but just out of the boxes. And maybe some additional ones will fit in that closet. Obviously, there's a little bit of room on the top of that dresser, and maybe some in our room. And then maybe we can actually have them all out in one place, which would make me, I mean, not in one place, but I would be able to see them. I would be able to inventory them. I would be able to read them, purge them, give them away, whatever I might want to do. Right. Yeah. So that's my goal for the next month with regard to my physical inventory. I also have already decorated for fall, so you can see some of what I've done here. I'm not all there yet, but I definitely got a bug right early on. Like the calendar turned and I was fall it all, y'all. So it's everywhere. I've been lighting pumpkin spice candles. I've been transitioning to pumpkin spice creamer as well. I had that in my coffee this morning, which I don't usually do, but I did for reasons that make no matter to you. And I have just generally been like, yeah, this is it. It's time for fall. I'm ready to transition to a new season. This summer was just brutal. So I have little pumpkins here and there and candles everywhere. And yeah, and then Lisa will probably start maybe painting some pumpkins as she has done in the past. You can see one of those in the photo that she did of the Evil Queen. And just generally speaking, I'm ready for fall. And I have a fall scrapbooking kit that I put together in July, and I didn't really kind of kill it like I wanted to, which is to use up, if you aren't familiar, the supplies that are, that you put in that that are kind of dispensable, like paper and things, photos, whatever. And so I am going to maybe focus back on that a little bit this month too. I'm feeling the fall vibes, even though it's probably 90 some degrees outside today. I also got from my friend Andrea a new lipstick, which you can see I've been wearing for the last couple of weeks. My friend Andrea sells a product called Color Street. I don't know if you're familiar with Color Street. Color Street is the company that also does the nail strips that I use. Can you see those? There we go. It's a little bit better. I have some stars and moons on right now. I haven't done my nails in a while because they were just in really bad shape with some of the stuff I was doing around the house and probably my diet. So anyway, I have this shade, which is called, let me put on my glasses because I need my glasses for this. It's called VIP. And this is the Velvet Lipstick brand. I'm in no means saying you should buy this, and I don't get anything for bringing this to your attention, but it's pretty long lasting. It feels nice on my lips. It doesn't have a sheen to it, which I do typically use I usually just use a tint, a Burt's Bees lip balm, tinted lip balm is what I typically use. But I like this one because it stays on longer. And I just kind of got this to try it because I was interested in it. It was on sale when I got it, and I'm really happy with it. So I've been wearing that for the last while just to kind of see how I feel about it. And I really do like it. So it also comes out really easily. But here's my other favorite part. How many times have you put a lipstick in a little bag in your purse? Because that's where I keep it, and the lid falls off and it just crunches off. Watch this. It has a magnet, so it will not come off. I know. So that's the other reason why this is one of my favorite things right now. So I'm probably going to get another shade, maybe a like a more of a, I don't know, brownish, deeper tint to it. I don't know. I can't have too dark a lipstick because I'm pretty fair skinned and it like kind of looks weird, but I'm going to try to find something that's a little more fall inspired. And I still have some fall strips because I bought a bunch of them and haven't used them all over time. I've, just really been a grand supporter of hers, and she sends me a lot of free stuff all the time too, which is great. So shout out to my friend Andrea from Color Street, or as a Color Street representative. I'll post her link in the description, but again, no need to do anything except just admire this lovely lipstick that I found. And then I also found from Target these, when we took the kids back to school shopping, we found these cute little back to school Kleenex boxes. And I love them so much. They have numbers and they have these, and they're cute and they look like back to school, and they are very fall colored. And I just love them so much. So I have those all over my house too, because, you can't have enough Kleenex in a place where your allergies are constantly running rampant, if you will. So that is my favorite new Kleenex. I know it's weird. Why am I sharing all these things with you? Because they're random and I like them a lot. When I got off the thriller train, there were a couple of books. I really didn't miss the thriller train so much, except for there were a couple of books that I would automatically have read had I not been on the thriller ban. And one of them I would like to see if I can get to this month. Although, again, series September, I'm not probably going to read that whole stack, though. I mean, honestly, probably not. But this one is one that I really want to prioritize because it's just sitting over there in a stack and I see it all the time. And I'm like, but that's the Ruth Ware, because I've read everything Ruth Ware has ever written up till this. So I've read Ruth Ware to zero if I read this, which is kind of ironic and ridiculous, but it's true. Okay, so I've talked about it before. I think for me, it was a really anticipated read, not a 5-star prediction though, because let's face it, some of these aren't that, but yeah, I really do want to. Oh, here's my physical therapy receipt. Isn't that fun? That's how long I've had this. I've had this apparently since June 29th at least. Oh, I can tell you when I bought it because here's my book receipt. It is the 29th of June. I bought this book. So it's been sitting for a while, calling my name. Oh, sorry. Calling my name. It is also a Barnes and Noble exclusive edition. Those kind of get me. It was, though, 30% off on the day that I went, which is really what got me to purchase it. This follows Jacinta, whose nickname is Jack, and her husband Gabe, and they are security penetration specialists to test the strengths and weaknesses of business system solutions. And Jack handles physical break-ins and Gabe tackles digital issues. And something happens to Gabe, and Jack is the number one suspect. And so she has to go on the run to prove her innocence. I have heard mixed reviews on this, but I always hear mixed reviews on Ruth Ware, so I don't take that so much to heart. Ruth Ware does remind me of Agatha Christie, although this one seems a little bit more of a thriller than a mystery per se, but they do all kind of have a tie-in to or a tag to other books or movies. So I'm not going to say what I think this one is a tag or a tie-in to until I read it. But I have read In a Dark, Dark Wood, The Woman in Cabin 10, The Lion Game, The Death of Mrs. Westaway, The Turn of the Key, and One by One. And so and The It Girl. Again, I've read Ruth Ware to Zero, which I can't say about a lot of authors. I am traveling in August, so it's very possible that I will read more, although I don't know. I'm only traveling for a couple of days. I think the last thing on my list, to show you is I might start to put together this puzzle because I've had this since Christmas. It was gifted to me by one of my kids or several of my kids. And it is a read, assemble, and solve a mystery puzzle. And the puzzle is not what you see on the front. So it's going to be hard. And it is, you can see, 1,000-piece puzzle, which I have not done for a very long time. I have a puzzle mat, which I also got for Christmas. And I have a mystery puzzle, and I can put a puzzle together while I watch TV at night. I can get help to put the puzzle together from my family members. And so I've never done one of these, and I have a couple of them now. So I'd like to get started on a puzzle, and I have been thinking about that for a couple of weeks. And so I think this one is possibly the one. And I don't mind them being partially put together as long as I have that mat, because you can roll it up. Allegedly, it stays together, and then you unroll it, start again. Okay, that is a wrap for this month's book chat. I am so pleased with my new subscribers, with all of your comments. I also didn't tell you, Mark Lawrence, who wrote the book That Wouldn't Burn, I don't know if you saw this, popped a comment in there when I included that on my series September. So that made my day, maybe my year, my author encounter so far, I think this year, because I haven't seen any. Well, I've seen some local authors, but I haven't seen any authors in person. I didn't go to the Mississippi Book Fair, which I'm sad about, but yeah, Mark Lawrence shouted out that he was pleased to see I had snuck that one in there. Year made. Thanks again for subscribing. Thanks for sharing my channel with your friends. If you have for comments and sharing what you're reading with me, connecting with me on Facebook and Instagram, I love it all. And I wish you, as always, a happy reading day. Bye.